Welcome to your magical moon message. This is the peace dealer. The moon is in Scorpio. The sun is in Capricorn. Yeah, and so relative to this sun and moon transit right here, what can I say other than it is time to understand the pure belonging of the right wisdom and influences whom belong with this ascension and development of your God level perspective and power, but also the rewards you're coming into the success you have just completed. So basically, you have net pay, or you have gross pay, and you have net pay. 11th house is like the gross pay, and then the second house is the net pay. So the 11th house of associates, colleagues, friends, but also rewards from career connects everything you've harvested that you're ready to divvy up, because whatever's left for you, that's what you take in the second house, your own money. Okay, but regardless, this is very important because it's finally now time for us to come into the results for God level power we activated. So the 10th house is the house of success, accomplishments, reputation, legacy, and you want to see that as like the leaderboard. As like every time, because your power is activated now, and I don't think you recognize the guidance intuitively that facilitated the building of neural pathways to bring unconscious competence towards things that you were competently unconscious of. No, I didn't say that right. You were consciously incompetent of. Now put you into more understanding than ever of how quickly you've leveled up, because some of you may not realize that you don't need training wheels anymore. Some of you may not realize that you have mastered certain things you're still trying to master, because of how, I'm not going to say subatomic, but because of how personal or in depth this development was. Some of this development is happening at deep parts of your soul, and you can get so distracted by 3D, you may not realize you've far surpassed a lot of where you were before, because a lot of this development is subtle until a transit like this that through Moon in Sagittarius will help you understand the vision and insight of how much you've been transcending the trine to Jupiter and Sag, which will show you the evolution. It's a lot happening very fast. But personally, that 10th house aspect, right? As soon as the moon made it to 24 degrees Libra, this from 24 degrees Libra to 26 degrees Scorpio is the definition of the success you're intensifying. So this is literally you leaving ascension to you coming into this success. You are literally actively performing the greatest activity with your abilities so that you understand the wisdom and knowledge of it. And this is what's going to enable you to take this into Aquarius season. The unconventional and controversial nature of the moon's opposition to Uranus is important because with the south node in Scorpio, we're taking 10 to 15 plus years of understanding the wisdom of unconventional data, knowledge, and insight that for the past 15 years has been scoffed at, has been dismissed, has been generally not necessarily taken serious, and all of that is being turned on its head. If not, the same authority figures that told you most of this stuff wasn't real are going to tell you they're real. And it's not up to them to say it. The synthesized evidence and information that's come out since the past 10 years is now culturally, all right, in tandem with the Scorpio's social nature and the South Node, which is now bridging the past decade, bringing now with Uranus opposite this more tangible evidence of these modalities and practices. What does that look like? 15 years ago, you may have made to have been feel like a fraud or a loser because you actually heal people with Reiki. But because certain information and wisdom on Reiki healing or energetic healing practices wasn't necessarily as known 15 years ago, even though it's an ancient practice, you may not have been able to move forward. There's certain people who, you know what I'm saying, but you stuck to it and you didn't just stick to it. You were developing the skills just like a bodybuilder builds their muscle. You're developing the neural pathways in the craft versus now, whereas there were results and evidence of this before, it's miraculous. Now y'all are healing people with cancer, AIDS. Like Uranus in Taurus is bringing a very unconventional, taboo dynamic to this, which forces naysayers and people who never knew what the fuck they were talking about to acknowledge they never knew what the fuck they were talking about. Whether they'll say it like that really doesn't matter because they never knew what the fuck they were talking about. Okay, for those of you, this could be for astrological sciences, quantum mechanics, manifestation, in every field you can think of, even medicine. All right. You're seeing a lot of physicians who brought up evidence about vaccines, evidence about protocol and healing certain people, certain types of surgeries. Now this is all coming back around. So this is all part of the Saturn Aquarius 30-year like census update, knowledge update, peer-reviewed research coming into the next 30 years of knowledge, and hopefully breaking through these false narratives because they're so annoying. Now, the thing about this is the moon square to Saturn that will give this total knowledgeable understanding based on the understanding of wisdom you're currently harnessing and cultivating. And on top of that, that's going to lead to the moon square. So the first part of this transit is making it to the 11th house. Once the moon gets to 26 degrees Scorpio, we are officially beginning the 11th house transit that will have you understand the knowledge and wisdom, the pure energy and wisdom of power you're now coming into the rewards of. Because the 10th house is the completion of this, and as you're completing it, this is where you're going to start to get the rewards. And the reward is in this pure knowledgeable understanding of how you harness life force and chakra. Now that you've activated this God level power, it's time for you to harness this God level energy, cosmic energy. And that's what's going to lead us into Aquarius season to charge the hardware that you've awakened in Capricorn. So I think this is going to be a sleeper hit. I think people aren't going to really realize how important this transit is because of how low key it'll be. And this will also give you real insight into who you can purely trust in your social circle. Get a little chilly out there. And the reason why that's really key is everything about Moon and Scorpio transits expose a lot of what's hidden, but reveal wisdom. And I mean, everything gets exposed regardless of the Moon sign transit, but the Moon's proximity in opposition to Uranus and square to Saturn is not only going to frustrate this highly and challenge this highly, but it's going to really put you in a position to embrace the pure wisdom and understanding of you at your core and elements of your own psychology that are getting ready to transform as you understand what you have done with everything you've been cultivating the past 3 weeks. And now that the moon is in the social zodiac signs, how this social activity and dealing with others dynamically in this way facilitates the completion of this Capricorn transit. Remember, this is the final boss battle. So this is you now concluding by the time we reach 26 degrees, you finish the final boss battle. And then the 11th house is the part of the final boss battle where you're talking to your friends, you're talking to the RPG party, celebrating the whooping of this final boss's ass. So you're in the thick of it right now. And not only in the thick of it right now, that quincunx to Jupiter in Aries and Chiron in Aries is transforming and breaking you through any vulnerability that you have, owning who you are, feeling comfortable with the evolution of who you are. Because what Capricorn season teaches you is that not everyone claps for you when you win. And certain people are threatened as you walk up the mountain, because it's cool when they feel unthreatened from you, but when for whatever dumb reasons or reasons they have in their head, they feel you're a threat, then with their ego and pride, they feel like they have to manipulate or gaslight or do whatever. And this is going to really key you into more of these social and collective dynamics, but it's also quintessentially breaking you through the understanding of what and how you're transforming now that you're completing the activation, integration, and harvest of God level superpowers. So you're already using them, but after Aquarius season, you're gonna know how to use them. So this is just utilization. Not for utilization's sake, but to really at least take into account this greater development of self. You've been walking up the mountain. It's now time to see who is at the top with you, because that's who you're going to go into Aquarius season of community and friendships with. Okay? You get to talk shit together about how you're better than everyone. Yeah, I said it. Capricorn is the elitist zodiac sign on the top of the mountain, like pathetic losers. You didn't even work as hard to get here. And I mean, that's really like elitist, but do that today. Find people to do that with today and go in. Go in. It's going to be an integrity. Okay? I'm partially joking, but I'm not really either. And I mean, you don't really have to do that. It's probably not going to happen, but really keep that in mind as far as this whole notion of at least taking stock of how far you have come. This elitist attitude is really going to be towards fake people who try and do what you do, but don't really do the work. They just kind of do what's trendy versus you that's done the work. Like, there's a clear separation with the Scorpio 11th house dynamic of the quality. Scorpio is all about pure quality. So the separation is being made from whose quality is pure and whose is foo-foo, like whose is just bullshit. Okay. And you know, a lot of that is going to be based on the integrity that has gone into what you have sowed and reaped. All right. Congratulations once again. The last thing I want to say about this is the whole dynamic of energy harnessing. Dragon Ball Z, Hunter x Hunter, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Charmed, The Magicians, whether live action, whether anime, you have this whole dynamic of harnessing energy with Dragon Ball Z and chakra with Naruto, but casting spells with Charmed or doing magic with The Magicians. And all of this represents the ability to harness enough energy as currency to perform magical acts, to use unseen dynamics in tandem with your own body to effectively, of course, interact with your reality. And the wisdom and understanding of the secrets behind how you personally do that are being revealed. There is an unconventional manifestation of this that will take certain elements you've been doing every day your whole life and then being hidden in plain sight, being revealed, that you start to understand a much more pure way or deeper way of what's happening and what to do, okay? And this is where the wisdom that comes into the unique way you harness energy will break you through before you transcend the perception of it. So the first part of this transit is the moon where it is now, coming into 26 degrees. By the time we kick in the exact 11th house transit, 26 degrees, the moon will be squaring Saturn and it'll be trining Neptune. That trine to Neptune is giving you a very extreme, with the sextile to Pluto, understanding of the intuitions and synchronicities you've been compiling to where they're getting ready to all be put together. And it's going to make sense of why you've been feeling and guided towards certain places, but the intensity and depth of this will blow your mind. It's going to be very unconventional. And it's also going to facilitate a lot of wishes and dreams coming true. It's going to be this is super incredible. It's just, don't be too attached to certain things that you still aren't fully in the clear about. You want to embrace this mystery. Remember, you're a creator, so don't be perturbed by the 3D environment. Just let it be a part of what you're creating. Anyway, that being said, I hope you enjoyed this transit. This is definitely going to facilitate the rest of this Capricorn season. The rest of this Capricorn season into Aquarius season and Pisces season is going to be epic as fuck. Nothing compares to what built up for this. So crazy news pieces, crazy stuff meant to distract you, crazy reactions from other people. Stay within, source within, tap in within. Remember, you just activated and harvested God level superpowers. So don't get caught up in the distractions to not have you develop this Embrace it. This is a facet of yourself you've been wanting to connect with your whole life. It's here. And you're going to understand more of the wisdom to guide you with who this belongs with. Godspeed, ladies and gentlemen. You made it.